Hello, bar takers. It's Lisa Duncanson, your bar exam guru, and I'm here today to talk about what you can do between now and it's July 5th, between now and the bar exam that will help you ensure passing, or at least get you the best opportunity to pass. So part of this is based on, of course, my experience with the bar exam, which I've been training people, thousands of people, for 24 years now to pass the California bar exam. I've also worked with people to pass New York and Arizona. But what you care about and what I care about right now is the California bar exam and the examinees that are studying for that right now. So we've received so many calls and messages in the last week about kind of desperate pleas. What do? I don't know what to do. And these are from students that are taking courses that are on video, which, pretty much everything is now, especially with COVID. We are also on video. But these long days of watching hours and hours of video and then reviewing stuff and reviewing outlines and not really doing enough essay practice, probably, and feeling less and less confident about the exam as it gets closer and closer. And that's a very common, overwhelmed feeling that people get at this stage of the game. So one of the things that I do for my students is I provide materials that are really for the last 3 or 4 weeks of their studies. And I have students that come in just for this program, the Bar Exam Cram Session program, who are sometimes that's their only review. Especially attorney takers who are taking it from, New York or somewhere else and flying in to take the test, or they're already here but need to pass California. I've had many students that were attorney takers that did nothing else in their bar prep but this and passed. It's a really tailored course to not just the written, but it does give you some advantages and help with the MBEs, and especially the essays and, of course, the performance tests. We do spend some time on that. But the main focus is on how to write the essays and what the approaches should be, which are approaches, if you have an approach for contracts or First Amendment speech or defamation or products liability or whatever it might be, for felony murder, whatever it is, that will be the same approach you're going to use and tick off in your brain when you're doing MBEs. So it's a really good, solid day of coverage. I do not spend my time reading outlines to my students because I know they can read. I spend my time focusing on the areas that I'm pretty positive people will not pick up on. And there are a lot of those areas. So I can give you a few examples. The odd way that the California bar examiners will test community property if they are testing a transmutation. Now, transmutations, if you recall, is when an item that is separate property is transmuted by, now it has to be a written agreement from separate property to community property, or from community property to separate property. And if you're going from community property to separate property, that's often a premarital agreement, which was allowed to be done orally up until 1986. And then in 1986, they addressed that and said, no, it has to be in writing, signed by the party to be giving up their interest. So something like wages, the spouse's wages will be his own separate property. That would be something that would have to be in writing. And if it was before the marriage, then it would be in writing as a prenup. But what's mostly tested is this area of transmutations, which as of 1985, they have to be in writing and signed by the party who's giving up their interest. But that's not how the bar examiners test it ever, okay? If it should ever be a subject that's tested on the NCBE, which is unlikely because other states have family law, not community property. But then they would maybe go into a transmutation question as you would expect, but I promise you it's not how you're going to see it. So what they do is they expect you to address transmutation, even though you know it's not there. You know it cannot be proven. So how are you supposed to know when to bring it up? Reviewing past essays would be one way. The other way is that you're watching this video and I'm telling you that this is the truth. This is how they want to see it. So let's say wife inherits a very valuable Ming Dynasty vase from her great-grandfather. So if you go through source, action, and presumption, which is your general basic approach for the items and how to distribute the items in community property, given other rules that might apply, you would look at the source and say, well, it's inheritance, which is separate property, as we all know from the community property general presumptions. And were there any actions in the fact pattern that she said, the wife said, I want you to have the same interest in this vase as I do, it's our vase. There won't be anything like that on the fact pattern. And even if there was, it would have to be in writing, correct? So there won't be any of that. Here's what will happen on a fact pattern. This is what they've done repeatedly. It'll be that wife inherits this Ming vase, and so it's separate property. And then one day, husband comes home and says, hey, honey, look, I bought us a pedestal for our Ming vase. That's not a transmutation, because that person, even if it was a transmutation, if she said it's our Ming vase, it would have to be in writing. It would have to be by the person who's giving up their interest, which is the wife. So there's nothing that's going on that should trigger transmutation. But when they ask in the calls, and there'll likely be 3, who gets the townhouse, who gets the cabin or the boat, and who gets the Ming vase, and you're thinking, oh, that's a no-brainer. It's going to be wife. But you're right, but you're missing something, because what they want to see is what possible argument could husband make. Well, he called it their vase. So they expect you, and it was on both released answers, and every time they do this, and they do it quite often, it's in answer A and answer B. It will not show up this way on your model answers from any major national course. Okay, so you're going to miss this if you don't see this video or come to my cram session. This you'll get without coming to the cram session. I'm telling you, there's 50 more of these that will make the difference between passing by a bit or not passing at all. And that sucks, but it's just the truth, and I'm telling you the truth. So the argument on both answers that the bar examiners embraced was, and has been consecutive times after, many times after this, separate property would be the wife's. However, the husband may argue that there was a transmutation. He did refer to it being their vase. Had there been an agreement, it would need to be in writing, signed by the wife, the party to be charged. Absent any of that, there will be no transmutation that will be enforceable, and husband will not get the vase. And I think that's crazy, crazy time. But the reality is, well, the first time I saw that was about 14 days before the July 1994 bar exam that I took right out of law school. So that gives you an idea of my age. And I couldn't believe it. And I thought, that can't be. So I looked at more community property essays that were released. And sure enough, they kept doing it that way. And I thought, really? And now that I do bar prep, and I've been doing it since 1998 privately, and 95 and 96, I did it at a couple of different law schools, who I'm entirely grateful for my career for, because I learned how to do it on their dime and had success. And I just love doing this. I love helping people pass the bar exam. I've worked with people that have taken it 10 times and gone to 10 different people. I've worked with people on their first time. I've worked with people on their second, third, fourth, and fifth time. this cram session could be something that could make this your very last time. And I would not say that if I didn't believe it, if I didn't see that happen all the time. So it's so much more than the predictions. It's much more than that. It's learning these nuanced areas that, you know, we think of the MBEs as having the nuances and the little picky-any things that are required. But the essays are full of it. They're full of them. And so that's where I focus. I will go through an approach for every topic that has one. You know, subjects like corporation, they have sections, business organization, but partnerships has a great approach already. And there are a couple of areas that they've never tested yet. So I will be covering that. And, but corporations has lots of individual issues and they don't really have an approach. And so that has its own style of, that you need to take on. I was going to say incorporate, but that would be kind of a joke. Sorry. But that you need to achieve in order to get through it, because it doesn't work like contracts where it's, you know, formation, defenses to formation and breach, and it doesn't work like negligence, duty, breach, causation, damages, or like products liability. It's got little spatterings of things, you know, so they've tested some things recently, and then there's a lot that has not been tested in business organization. It's not my #1 pick for this bar exam, but it's a nice crossover with professional responsibility always, so it could always show up anytime. But that's kind of what I'm gonna end it with. So just a quick summary of what you would receive. If you signed up today, for example, it is right now, well, this video will be posted within the hour, but right now it's late in the evening. So if you were to sign up anytime before 1 in the morning on any night, you'll get your predictions email along with the email that has the essays that are to supplement those predictions and reflect variations of how this how this area of law can be tested. And so you may have 4 or 5 essays for that topic because there's 4 or 5 ways that those 2 issues can come up, or not 4 or 5 ways, but 4 or 5 examples. I mean, why not see multiple examples of what is very likely? So there are over 30 essays that you'll receive within a few hours of signing up. Sometimes it's within a minute. If I'm at my computer, this is something I do myself. I do have support staff who ship books and things like that. So you will get that right away, and then you get your book the next day or two. And you'll get the all-day coverage, and you'll get my assistance after that leading up to the bar, which means you can call, you can email, and I will answer questions. And if I'm not available to answer questions, we have a couple of staff members who are past students of mine and have obviously successfully passed and become attorneys, and they work for me, and they're excellent at answering questions, especially from the student perspective, because they weren't as long ago a student as I was. So there is support between now and the bar, and there's support via email. There's support. I send out emails in addition to the emails that you'll receive right away with the predictions you may not share and the essays that you can download. There'll be other things that I will send to you. There's charts to help you memorize things like estates and things and wills, a distribution chart for all kinds of stuff. So I throw in a lot of things that I don't really advertise, because what I want is for you to succeed. That is my foremost goal. So just keep us in mind. And I don't know that we're going to make the predictions available outside of this. We have in the past, and that's one of the reasons I'm doing this video, is I don't want people to say, well, I know she does it. She does it after the cram sessions. So I'm going to wait and then I can get them. And I don't know if we're going to do it. Last bar round, we've become so known for this that I do these predictions we were so overwhelmed. I have students that have been studying with me for months, and they are my first priority. And people who are taking the cram sessions, they're my first priority. So, you know, we were up through the night, me and my staff, doing, you know, getting these orders fulfilled, and it was just crazy. And we had to do that just to make sure that we were grading exams in a timely basis for our enrolled students. So it's not something I'm really looking forward to taking on. And obviously I am a for-profit business, but I'm also a for staying healthy person business. And so if we do it, we're going to have to raise the price substantially. So I think it was $295, $395. We've done that pricing back and forth. This time, if we do it, it's going to be $595, which may sound like a lot, but so many people want it, and I cannot staff up enough to do it if I'm selling it for $300. It's just not realistic. So not guaranteeing that that's going to be available, but we'll see what the interest is. And I just wanted to let you know, anyone who's watching this video and following my blog, that if you're planning on getting it that way, it's not, there's no guarantee, and I don't want to be letting people down just because we've done it before. It doesn't mean we're going to be able to pull it off this time. But for not much more, you could take the cram session and get that plus a lot more, not just the predictions, but a lot of extra help and a 10-day study plan and all those things that I mentioned. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out at 213-529-0990, 213-529-0990. And you can also follow us on our YouTube channel. If you like this video and our other videos, please like and subscribe. That helps a lot, and I will do more videos the more likes I get. Please follow the blog if you are already doing that. Thank you very much. And I will continue to post things here, whether for anyone, whether you're in my class or not. So I wish you all the very best of luck on the July 2021 bar exam, and reach out to us if you think the course would be beneficial. If you still have questions, feel free to give us a call. I wish you all the best.